Hi, can you hear me? It's Steve again.
Yeah.
Steve again. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yes,
perfectly,
can hear you.
Steve.
All right then. I've just borrowed my daughter's tablet to do it.
Brilliant. Do you want to re-ask who asked that question of you? Was it Chris?
It was Chris who asked what's happening about Yorkshire cricket.
Well, unfortunately, they're not telling us a lot. They just say that there's going to be meetings, and we don't know. I mean, they haven't even told us whether they're going to give us part of our season membership back, or anything like that. They haven't talked about that, and they just don't know. They're not, or if they do know, they're not telling the members yet. Only updates we get is the same as everybody gets from ECB, and Yorkshire have just said they're looking at memberships and what they're doing with them, i.e. whether they're going to give us a bit of a refund, because you can have several types of membership, and you can have a full membership where you can watch all games, including T20 and one days, or you can just have a championship membership or just one day membership. So they've got to sort out with all the different types of membership that they've got how much they're going to give back. But they just haven't said anything. Yorkshire's not coming out with it. You get a weekly update from them, but it doesn't say anything different.
Right. Okay. I mean, I don't know if any of you have picked up on it. The fact that a lot of the football teams are discussing whether they should give money back to the fans and that. And I know that United's one of them, and they've been having discussions with different groups to see what they should do. Most of the lower league clubs, the fans seem to be saying keep it, because we want there to be a club there next season. Have you heard anything about championship stuff at all, John?
No, only that Wednesday making same considerations. There's talk of refunding to fans, having a voucher for the shop, which is virtually worthless, really, when you see what's in shop.
Probably like a season ticket.
Or just give it to. I'll give mine to club because I donate to a lot of charities.
You're throwing your high-pitched voice again, John.
What's the matter? I think it was your technical advisor, John.
Yes.
So
I didn't know he could do all of it.
Let's move on.
So did we. Away.
Let's move. Right. Has anybody got any questions before we move on?
Why?
Yes, Steve.
Well, my membership at Yorkshire is £230 a year. So, what sort of membership do you pay for that?
Sorry, Steve.
Football?
Sorry, Steve. We don't give money. Sorry, not on this show.
For United and Wednesday, I think a fairly similar-ish. A normal season ticket will be around £400 to £500.
I don't pay that. Not for a pension.
But pensioners' rates are about 2/3 of that.
355.
There you are, 355. I weren't far out.
240-ish.
Yeah. See any football?
Yorkshire are quite a good cricket team, though.
Watch it, Ian.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's coming up to a busy period for us because we should have been playing Lancashire on Thursday in the T20, which would have been a bumper crowd of
Yeah.
20,000 or so, and then me and Chris are missing week after next. They're missing a few days at Scarborough watching Lancashire play, which would have had 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 a day in Scarborough.
Yeah.
Which is obviously that game, any Scarborough game in any year is the outside the London clubs the most attended game in the country. Even more, it even gets more than it would have got at Headingley if the same match would have been at Headingley. They regularly get over the 4 days 15 to 20,000 fans.
Right.
That makes Scarborough Cricket Club survive.
Yeah,
That was.
it does. We were
Right,
supposed to be.
okay.
We were supposed to be having a dinner at Scarborough Cricket Club before one of the one-day matches that they're playing there this year, with an evening with Sangakkara, Kumar Sangakkara, but that looks like it's in danger of not being able to be in place now, which is disappointing.
Do you still have the Scarborough Festival?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
My mum used
that's
to go
in
on about
August.
that.
That's in August. Yes, we're
Yeah.
playing. We should have been playing Warwickshire this year.
Right. Let's, if we can, please, let's move on because Paul's done the work. So we need to let him do the business. So Paul is now going to talk about Britain's greatest ever sportsman. So Paul the Biscuit, over to you.
Morning.
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 This came about 2 or 3 weeks ago when Big Paul asked a quiz question about somebody who'd beaten Charlie Chaplin at table tennis, and I happen to know who it was. But the story about this guy is far more than that. This is a guy called Max Woosnam. Some of the sports that Lol was talking about a few minutes ago, Max Woosnam would have been top class at probably half of them. He was top class in football, tennis, golf, cricket, snooker and shooting. Okay. He is an English sportsman. He was born in 1892, died in 1965 at the age of 72. An English sportsman, sometimes referred to as the greatest British sportsman in recognition of his achievements. His biography is entitled Max Woosnam, All-Round Genius. Now, that is someone else's title because he was a very modest man. He wouldn't talk about his achievements. He thought that it was the height of vanity. So he didn't used to talk about the things that he'd achieved. But if I tell you some of the things that he did do, in tennis, he won an Olympic gold medal and a silver medal at the 1920 Olympics in Antwerp. They were both in the doubles and they were both on the same day. So he won a gold and a silver medal on the same day at tennis. He won the doubles at Wimbledon. He captained the British Davis Cup team. He made a century at Lord's, 133, sorry, against the MCC when he was only a schoolboy. He captained Manchester City at football when they were runners-up in the League Championship in 1920-21. He also played for Chelsea and was their captain. He played one game for the England football team. He played several for the amateur team, but he played one for the England football team, and they chose him as captain. That's got to be unique.
Yeah.
One cap and to be captain. He also compiled a 147 break in snooker. He was a scratch golfer. And he won a shooting gold medal at Bisley. Now, if you can tell me anybody that's a better all-round sportsman than that, I'd be very interested to hear about him.
Ollie Keith,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Obviously, but that's in his lifetime, in his own time, isn't it? Yeah, I know.
In his head.
So,
Hang on. I'm going to
Paul,
sing.
Paul, just
go on.
sorry for interrupting. When he played Charlie Chaplin
Yes,
table tennis,
yeah,
he beat him using a butter knife
a butter
instead
knife.
of a bat.
That's
Yeah.
right. The reason it was sort of quite interesting, Charlie Chaplin himself was an excellent table tennis player, apparently.
Yeah.
One of his sort of party pieces was he would take anybody on, whoever came to his house or he ever met, he would always take them on at table tennis and it virtually never ever lost. But this guy beat him with a butter knife.
Yeah.
Show off.
But Paul, is there any
Yeah.
chance that this guy got on everybody's nerves?
Um,
He's the kind of guy at school I would have filled in, you know.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he would have been bullied, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, by the way, talking about Charlie Chaplin, I heard another story about Charlie Chaplin as well. He once entered a lookalike competition to impersonate himself, and only came third. He was in his 70s at the time, which might have had something to do with it.
So,
Okay, go on.
Ron's got a question.
The only, thinking about this Max Woosnam, the only person who approaches him is CB Fry.
He is, yes.
who played football and cricket for England and won an FA Cup final and got the world long jump record. But I don't think he was as broad-based as Max
I will
Woosnam.
sign off this one.
He was also offered, CB Fry was also offered the monarchy of Albania, apparently.
And Norman Wisdom eventually got it.
Fairly wisely, he turned it down.
He once went to his club and said to a friend, I'm thinking of going into horse racing. And his friend said, what has Charles? Trainer, owner, jockey or horse?
Right then. If I go back to Max Woosnam, Ian will be very pleased to know he was born in Liverpool.
Yeah.
He was the son of a clergyman. The Woosnam family were landed gentry, so he was a fairly well-off sort of guy. He attended Winchester College, where he captained the golf and the cricket teams. Also represented the school at football and squash. And as I mentioned, as a schoolboy, he was selected for the public schools 11 to play against the MCC, and he scored 144 and 33 not out at Lord's. He then went on to Cambridge University, went to Trinity College, represented the university at football, cricket, lawn tennis, real tennis and golf, and was a quadruple blue. Now, to be a double blue is virtually, yeah, it's amazing. Well, he was a quadruple blue.
No wonder he didn't last in Liverpool, Paul.
Yes, I can well imagine that. Yeah, I think he would have annoyed a few people, wouldn't he? After Cambridge, he played amateur football for two teams, Chelsea and Corinthians. Now, Corinthians has already been mentioned. Also, first of all, though, he was playing for Corinthians, went on a tour to Brazil. In 1913, he scored the first goal on the tour, made quite a name for himself, and they set off for their second tour in 1914, but they had to cancel the tour before they got very far because it was cancelled at sea when they discovered that war had broken out. And so they immediately turned around, went back, and they all enrolled to fight in the war. He fought alongside Siegfried Sassoon, the poet, spent 4 years on the Western Front. He probably won on his own, and took part in the Gallipoli campaign as well.
Great.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, well, I suspect he was injured during that day.
Yeah.
Just as a bit of an aside, the Corinthians team, it was a gentleman's football team, very much amateur in tradition, and they had a tradition that if they conceded a penalty, that their goalkeeper would stand aside and allow the shot to go into an empty net, because they said that no gentleman would ever concede a foul.
Oh.
So that was the type of team that the Corinthian team was. I think they moved on a little bit since then, but You are, sorry.
Carry on, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Paul, I think
Yeah.
when's his defence have taken that to heart?
Don't take long, does it? Don't take
Stop
long. Limited imagination, poor
It's not-
intellect. Don't take long.
It's not necessary, Keith. No, please.
Nah,
don't.
nah.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Their defence has been social distancing for a long time. After the war, he continued his amateur sporting career.
That's an odd stare.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that one. Usually you throw things at me. But then they usually miss as well, so.
Be careful, Paul, and start singing.
Oh, I never thought
That's
of
Orville.
that. I stop, honest. I won't do it again. So anyway, continued his amateur sporting career. In tennis, he entered Wimbledon. He got to the plate final. Now the plate is for people who get knocked out in the first or second round, and he lost in the final of that. So obviously quite disappointed, because he was more of a doubles player. The best he ever managed at Wimbledon in the singles, he only got to the quarter final. So obviously not really. Yeah. He said he continued to divide his attention because as well as playing tennis, he played football for Chelsea and was the captain of the team. But he took part in several tennis tournaments. He could have been a top golfer, but there wasn't time for him to play golf and tennis, and he preferred tennis. So despite being a scratch golfer, he decided not to play that very regularly. He declined the opportunity to be a professional sportsman because he found the idea vulgar.
Vulgar.
Yeah, so he wanted to remain as an amateur. He then moved to Manchester for his work, to work for an engineering company, and signed for Manchester City, as you do, only on amateur terms. And initially, he only played in home games because of his work commitments. However, when City lost, surprisingly, a 3-0 cup defeat to Leicester City, a lot of the supporters blamed Woosnam's employers for not allowing him to play. And as a result, the firm ordered Woosnam not to miss any other games. So he played at centre-half. He was the only amateur in the team, but all the professionals wanted him to be the captain. So it was highly unusual to have an amateur captain in a professional football team, but it was at the insistence of the other players that he became the captain. As I say, eventually his success allowed him to play for England at both amateur and full international level, but only on full on one occasion. But as I said, he was the captain of the team, as he would be, obviously. He carried on with the other sporting things. He won the doubles title at Wimbledon and the Olympics and captained the Davis Cup team. His football career ended in February 1926 due to injuries. He broke his leg playing for Manchester City, apparently.
Yeah, the year that Wednesday got promoted.
Is that right?
Mm.
Okay. He could probably play for them with his broken
Probably,
leg.
even with a broken leg, yeah.
Towards the end of his life, he was appointed to the board of ICI. Died in 1965 of respiratory failure, having been a smoker all his life. And you wonder what he might have achieved had he been fit.
Incredible.
Yeah. And the last one is about this thing about beating Charlie Chaplin. So
yeah,
this guy is regarded by many as being the greatest sportsman that Britain's never heard of. And if you talk about achievements, just absolutely amazing. If you made a film about it, people would say it was outrageous and too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Max Woosnam.
Yeah, well done, Paul.
Okay. There's a picture of Max Woosnam
Okay.
in his Manchester City kit.
What was his nickname? Crawler?
Right.
Amazing guy.
Before we move on, guys, Glenn wants to just have a chat about the project and whatever else. So I'm going to pass you over to Glenn for now.
Yeah, morning, guys. Good to see you all. Eventually, some technical problems this morning. Yeah, I won't keep you long on this. I just thought I'd update because it's been a few weeks. I want to start with the thanks, actually. Thanks to all you guys. And also, when you put it on the website, thanks to all those guys who are watching it, Ian, when they watch it, because the Reporters Academy this morning have received the Queen's Award for voluntary service. So that's equivalent to an MBE for an organisation. So I just want to say thanks, because without groups like yourself and people like yourself trusting our young people to come and work with them and trusting them with stories and things like that, you know, there wouldn't be a Reporters Academy. So, yeah, we're really chuffed for ourselves, obviously, but we're chuffed for all our partners and friends like yourself as well. So thanks for that, first of all. Secondly, the film, the exhibition, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had sort of a group of us working behind the scenes on getting all the clips we've got so far together. Looks there's loads of stuff. There's about 6 hours of footage, so which we've narrowed down to about 25 minutes so far. So we've done that. We've put the Heritage Fund reporting, because we had to submit that by Sunday. So we've done that. So effectively, unless we get any comeback from them, as far as they're concerned, they're happy with everything, and we can continue, obviously, because there are a number of things we've still got to continue due to COVID coming in. So in terms of the paperwork and everything, that's all gone in. So if there's any questions that they've got at this stage, then they'll ask those and I'll deal with those. But in terms of practical, in terms of yourselves, just before the lockdown, March, I think it was literally a week before or 10 days before, we lost out on the library session. So as soon as things start to get lifted, who knows fully when we'll be able to do that and in terms of what numbers. But then the library's on my list to set up again with the young people from Wales and to do a session there. So I'll send those details out. In addition to that, we've started producing the banners for the exhibition type. So 10 or 12 little banners we're doing that in a sort of retro way. So again, I'll update you on that later when we get nearer, but it'll have various features of stories that you've mentioned and shots of the group and individuals and things like that. So we'll have sort of 10 or 12 individual banners of the exhibition, which will be able to travel around the libraries. All of this that I'm mentioning now, obviously, you will see and check everything before anything is finished. So I'm just getting you up to date where we are. The idea was to sort of finish it now, but we're looking at obviously August, September. It could even be the end of the year. Who knows, depending on lockdown and guidelines and everything else and how many people can get together. But the idea would be to have a launch evening for Sporting Memories and the Wales High School guys and Reporters Academy to watch the film, have a look at the banners, see what you think, everything else first of all. Somewhere in Sheffield, put a few snacks on and things like that. So next stage, looking at libraries, I know Keith had kindly set up Bramall Lane as well for a visit there, and that fell through. I think that'll be, probably months off yet, I would think, before we even get the opportunity to do something like that. The other thing I've done, I contacted Weston Park just before the lockdown. They gave me a name and then didn't reply when I got in touch with them, but I'll chase those up. Because I had a visit up there and I thought, for some of those stories where you guys, and I think Tricia had mentioned as well about things like being on holiday and those associated local stories of watching finals on the first colour TVs and things like that. I thought it might be nice to have in the Sheffield area of the museum, do some interviews up there and have a visit round there. And then the final thing that's on my list, which I haven't forgotten about, is to get you guys on a Sharabang tour over to Media City. Come and have a look how we work, put the film together, have a look around the studios. Again, who knows on dates, but I just wanted to update you that we haven't forgotten about it. We keep working behind the scenes. I suspect some of these may be months ahead, but it would be nice to sort of get some kind of completion, certainly before the end of the year, I think, if possible. Just on another note, I may have asked for some of these. Those people have sent photos in of them they're younger guys playing sports. They're brilliant. We can include all of those, so keep those coming. The second thing I could do with at some stage, no desperate rush, a list of everybody in both groups and any nicknames attached to them, like Paul the Biscuit. etc. Because that, again, I need that for credits and also one or two things we're designing on the banners. And the
Sponsored by
third
Kit
thing,
Kat. Sponsored by Kit Kat.
sponsored by Kit Kat. Other biscuits are available.
Yeah. The biscuits are available.
So, and another thing that I'm going to send out, I'll send this by email, probably through the WhatsApp group as well. Nice one. Yeah, nice one, Keith. I'll send out what I thought might be a bit of fun is of all the lists of Sheffield connections to the World Cup, all the players, we've got a referee as well, and there's some Sheffield connections to managers at the World Cup as well. Thought I'd send that out to everybody. You can have a go at picking your favourite team from those Sheffield connections of the World Cup and put that together so we get a sort of group team that you decide. We can pop that on a banner as well for the exhibition. Just a bit of fun to do that and a bit of brain power and discussion. So that's where we're up, really. Sorry, I've rushed through that, but I just want to let you know, essentially, obviously, I'll keep you updated for each little bit, but that's where we're at currently. So if you've got any questions, fire away.
Right. Ian?
Yes, Glenn, thanks for mentioning the website. Just to bring you up to speed on that, we are, forget the joke and the banter pages as such, but all the other pages are really quite a wealth of virtual library collateral, which I need some help in promoting. And I think your professional eye would help us with that. When we do get back to some form of normality, I think there's an opportunity there to share what's on that website outside of the physical attendance at Sporting Memories, but to those guys who, for one reason or another, can't attend, but can be part of the virtual group. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
And I think I need your professional advice. So if you'd like to perhaps put your thinking cap on and let me know how we can actually exploit what we're gradually developing. There is we've got all Richard's videos, all your YouTube links, got links with other Sheffield quizzes, all sorts. This can be extended to Sheffield wide and actually through the Barchester people I work with here, nationally. You know, so there's a little something developing, and it's getting bigger than I can cope with. I need your advice if you can help me with that.
Yeah, a couple of points on that, Ian. I agree. First and foremost, I think I do a lot of these types of meetings on Zoom and Teams and every other flipping thing that's going at the moment. I think, to all your credit, it's fantastic you developed this group and to reach out, and the rest of the group can access this through the website and that. So big pat on the back for doing this. There's a lot of large, well-organised, well-funded groups who are doing very little in the same way of this, of reaching out to their communities. So well done on that, first of all. Yeah, more than happy to do that. And we've got 2 or 3 young people who'd love to get involved in terms of giving their advice. They're probably more clued up than I am in terms of promoting that. But it is a hidden gem here. More than happy to sit down and have a chat with you. And what I did forget as well, I do need at some stage, happy to come down and have a chat with you, Ian, or take you to your habitat of Liverpool and do an interview with you, because I'll need to do that with you moving away. So for the film as well.
Can you speak, Scouse? Do you know how to talk down there? Because if you don't talk proper, nobody will talk. Thank you for your kind thoughts. But I used to have a graphics team when I was in an IT firm, and I'd go to them and say, I've got an idea. And they'd come back with not just the idea developed, but whole new dimensions. And I think that's what I'm looking to your guys who know all the professional routes to say, there's a little nugget there, let's build on it. And I think that would do Sheffield initially, but probably wider communities, some useful good. That's just my view anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to pick up on one of the items that Glyn mentioned, photos of you when you were young playing sport, or in some cases just photos of you when you were young. We need to expand it. I know I sent quite a few. I know John sent some So can some of you get up in your attics and lofts and dig out one or two old photos? I'm sure, Dave, you must have got some photos of you playing football. Dave,
Yeah.
Dave Redford, I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And, Dave, you might have got some of you fishing even.
Oh, when I was footballing, I was too quick for the camera, Keith.
And Big Paul, we've sent Big Paul's provided some of him. So please, can we get them? If you need to send them to me, and I'll forward them on to Glyn. But if you can get some together, please, it would be brilliant. And more is better, because then Glyn can decide.
Edit.
Split. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Without earning everybody's disrespect, I need to ask John a question.
Oh, aye.
Oh, go on then.
The question is, can you name the song written by Charlie Chaplin?
Yes.
Yeah, I could. Limelight, something like that.
Yeah.
No,
Smiling, I
no,
think. Smiling.
more
My
famous.
song.
Was it Smiling or something?
No, it's
It's not eternally. Is it?
Smile.
Smile, da, 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 da,
Is it
da.
Smile?
Smile though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking.
That's it.
Although a tear may be ever so near, just you smile through your tears and sorrow. Smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through. If
This is what I missed
you
out.
just smile.
It was going
Oh,
slow.
hey. I've missed that. I've really missed that.
I'll
It's
come round
like
your
being
house and sing through your letterbox. Yeah.
Who needs a
So-
guard dog?
Right, has anybody got any quiz questions? To,
Well, I did a quiz last night for about 30 people.
yeah,
I've got a few questions about Sheffield. I don't know if that's any good.
I'll go
Yep.
on. But can I just get one
Yeah.
quickie off my chest?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Outer Hebrides island of Ailsa Craig, which piece of sporting equipment is it famous for?
Golf.
No,
Curling stones.
curling stones.
Well, it's also a whole.
Yeah.
That's where the granite comes from for curling stone. And how much does a traditional curling stone weigh?
Heavy.
Right heavy.
Right, heavy.
Not
Right.
heavy, it's my curling stone. 40 pounds.
wow.
40 pounds.
Try lugging that.
Chuck it.
Chuck it.
Chuck it.
Paul,
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I've done with my stone questions.
Okay, right.
I can't do it. I've just dropped a stone on my foot. In which Bond film did Sean Bean play the villain?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Living Daylights.
Die another day.
No,
Living Daylight.
Mm.
no.
It's the one where he was,
Die
another,
Another
he was
Day.
an agent, wasn't he? He
Never
was,
let die.
No.
No, no.
It's late.
Your eyes are
Yes, it's
Goldeneye.
later. Tomorrow never
Goldeneye.
knows. Or
Goldeneye. Yeah, somebody said
Goldeneye, that's it.
Goldeneye.
Goldeneye.
with Pierce
That was
Brosnan.
me.
Yeah.
Goldeneye.
Didn't he show his
Golden.
100%? I think he showed his 100% blade tattoo on.
100% blade.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why he got killed at end.
What year did, we'll not know this, I don't think. What year did Meadow Hall open?
Oh,
You know that movie.
Don't know.
What year? did it
78.
open?
88.
Close.
1987.
1990.
90, John. Yeah,
Yeah.
1990. Yeah. Which Sheffield
19.
musician featured in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire?
Sheffield musician.
Richard Hawley.
Oh.
Jarvis Cocker.
Jarvis Cocker. Yeah, Jarvis
Yeah.
Cocker.
He played the
The
lead singer.
folk singer.
He played the lead singer in a group called the Weird Singers, Weird Sisters. Sorry. Yeah. Which internationally acclaimed thriller writer studied at Sheffield University in the 1970s?
Lee Child.
Yes, Lee Child. Yeah, studied law. Didn't know that.
No.
Good answer.
In the wonderful film When Saturday Comes.
Worst football film ever made.
No,
Brilliant.
Yes.
bear in mind, this was for non-sporting people, really. Who
Yeah.
played Tony Curry?
Tony Curry.
Yeah. Who opened
Yeah.
Sheffield Town Hall officially?
Lord Mayor.
Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
I was there.
Do you know the strange story about when it happened?
No, tell us a strange story.
She was very old and frail and
She
didn't want to get out of her carriage.
Mm.
But she was also into gadgets. And so the leader of the council gave her a remote control and said, Your Majesty, if you flick the switch on that gadget, the gates will open automatically. And so she took the gadget, flicked the switch, and the gates opened as if by magic. And she thought it was absolutely wonderful. What she didn't know was that when she flicked the switch, it put a light on inside the town hall. And there were two big blokes with a rope on each gate. But she remained convinced.
Off with the heads.
Yeah, that's the one. In what year was Sheffield FC founded?
1857. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. My last Sheffield question was Jessica Ennis Hill.
Oh no.
Take a minute to think.
Oh.
Be still, my foolish heart. Yeah.
Yes. How tall is she?
5'7".
5'2".
No,
5'9".
5'9".
no.
5'4".
5'6" then.
5'5".
5'5". Eh?
For a heptathlete, that's tiny.
It is pocket dynamo.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were my Sheffield questions.
Well, right.
Thank you.
We've less than 1 minute to go. Any questions, anyone?
No.
Anything in particular?
So don't forget, next week we've got Will Evans coming on talking about Chesterfield life in football. Will Evans, the Chesterfield captain, coming on. So thanks to Chris and
Thank you, Chris.
everybody. Okay.
Thank you, Ian the Diamond.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Good to see
That's
you.
it.
Welcome.
See
See
you.
ya.
See you.
Thank you.
Stay.
Bye.
See ya.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.